What time is it? Podcast time. It's a celebration. I think I already recorded that, but this is a little add on because I am starting a brand new program next week that I want to tell you about. Or actually, it's starting today. If you're listening to this episode, it starts today. It's called Train Your Mind Like You Train to Run. You don't have to be a runner. It's all about helping you move from unstuck or overthinking to decisions, to your life, learning how to trust yourself, learning to move yourself forward. The great thing about my life coaching business, which this essentially is I can pull from themes that I'm seeing in my therapy practice, which is a lot of women feeling stuck, feeling like they're not present in their lives, feeling like they don't trust the decisions that they're making. They don't know whether to leave that relationship. They don't know whether they should say yes to this career change. And, or they know what to do and they're just not moving themselves forward for whatever reason. Maybe the fucking hellish world we're living in, who knows? But this program is meant to move you forward. So we're going to, for 5 days, it's just going to be in a Facebook Messenger thread. It's going to fit into anyone's busy life because I get it. We're all busy. I want to help you have some tools to move you forward so that you do learn how to trust yourself more, so that you do know how to move yourself forward, so that you do know and want to take those steps that you know you should take, that you know you want to take. And I'm so excited for this. So I've never done this before. This is a brand new little thing that I put together last week. So dollars, you can Venmo me. I'll put my Venmo in the show notes. We start today. The doors are going to close today. So make sure you join us. If you have been like, fuck, I don't know what's going on in my life, but I need something to change, this is your sign to join us now. Let's go. And let's go to the episode. I love you and I'll see you in the group. Mwah! What time is it? Podcast time. It's a celebration. What time is it? Podcast time. Hello and welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. My name is Melissa Hemming, and if a life coach and a therapist had a baby, you give me. I am I'm very excited that it is so beautiful outside, and it was either walk the dogs again or record a podcast for you, and I said I'm gonna go with the fucking podcast because I have 8-6 Go tonight. If you are in the Hartford area, 8-6 Go is such a fun little running group. Every single Tuesday night in Hartford, we meet under the arch. 6:30 we start. Usually I just walk with my friends, and then afterwards Red Rock feeds us for free, which is by far my favorite part. So you walk a little, you eat a little, you have some fun with your friends. So that starts tonight. So very excited to get out there, and now it's fucking here. Spring is starting. People are starting to cancel their appointments because they feel better. Everyone, you see them outside, oh, the wind is blowing in the cross breeze in my house right now. It's fucking perfect. But I wanted to come, and this I had no intention actually of even recording an episode like this until it hit me this morning that I have had a lot of discussions with people about this topic, and I wanted to do this. It's sort of a niche topic because it's about my run walk therapy practice. But so it's here for a couple reasons. It's for therapists who are considering growing a practice like this, and also hopefully to inspire you that if you are an outdoors person or someone who enjoys movement, enjoys exercise, how you might be able to utilize this with your own therapy or in your own search for a therapist. But I'm in a couple different groups on the interwebs, on the book of face. I fucking hate Facebook. Facebook is so terrible these days. And I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but I use it because everything that I post to Instagram goes to Facebook, so I inevitably am on Facebook, but every time I open it, I'm like, why am I? So the last couple weeks I've been making fun of this with my friend Heather, is every time I open it, it's a different group that I'm a part of, and someone's like, hey, anyone flown in the last 2 days? What are the lines at TSA? And every fucking person is like, Bradley is fine. Nothing's happening at Bradley. There's no lines at Bradley. But every day there's more posts about it. So it's hysterical to me. Now people are just posting like straight up status updates, or like, the TSA lines are fine. Have fun. I'm going on vacation. But anyways, I'm in a couple different groups on Facebook regarding therapy, my therapy practice, and being, you know, a licensed professional. Sometimes it can be helpful, sometimes it can be annoying, as just like most groups on Facebook. But one of the threads that I got involved on recently on one of those Facebook pages was about my run walk therapy practice. Someone was asking if anyone had one or anyone knew one, and of course I jumped in and said that I opened my run walk therapy practice in 2019. Was it 2019? I always have troubles with this. 2018 maybe? 2018? And so I wanted to share about this practice and about sort of the journey that I've taken since I opened that practice, and also what I would recommend for someone, as I said, who is entering this practice or curious about it. And as I said earlier, even if you are just wanting to do a session like this with your provider, I would definitely ask them. But so a lot of therapists have been reaching out to me since that post and saying, hey, what did you do? How'd you do it? And so I just wanted to sort of share about that, because that was one of the most exciting things that I think I had ever done in my life. I was so proud of that. I'm still so proud of that. I had read an article in Runner's World about someone in California doing a run walk therapy practice, and the minute I saw it, I was like, bam, that is my future. You know, if you've been here a while, you know how passionate I am about moving your body and mental health, and how perfect to combine my two loves into that. And in addition, there's other benefits to having a run walk therapy practice, from wanting to save time and still get movement in. Also, there's a lot to be said for like moving, not sitting face to face with people, but moving in a direction together. Sort of like, you know, when people talk about having conversation with your kids in the car, how that can be such an impactful time to have a conversation in the car with your kids, because there's no eye contact. You're looking forward, they're looking forward, or if they're like my kids, they're looking at their fucking phones. And sometimes it can be helpful to have conversations when it's not like all eyes on you. So, you know, particularly men like that as well. And I was sharing a story with someone that I talked to this morning about this, a therapist opening a practice in Connecticut. And I was saying that, you know, even at the height of my business opening, the Run Walk Therapy practice, there were people who came to me that were definitely interested and intrigued by what I did. But there was also a chunk of people who didn't take up that service or didn't take advantage of that service. But it was interesting because sometimes people who didn't initially join me because of that ended up coming on some of those sessions. Like one person that I thought of did not come to me as a run walk therapy patient, but he had worked with me previously and he was having like health issues. And so I said, you know, what a perfect way to sort of tackle some of these health issues that you're having and medical issues, and also get some movement in, and also have your therapy appointment. And so we would do that. But one of the things that I talked to about with one of the therapists recently was either, she was saying like, should she have an office first or the therapy clients first? And something that I shared with her was, I think sometimes it's like Field of Dreams, like you build it, they will come. And I know for me, and this is, a lot of therapists are virtual still, since COVID has sort of come and made it easier for us to work at home virtually without having the overhead of office and office costs and all of that. And, you know, my run walk therapy practice was, I thought, perfect because I was in an office in Hartford that was bordering Elizabeth Park. So what was nice about the practice, and this is why I sort of told her, like, absolutely don't get an office if you don't feel like you have enough clients to, like, make that make sense financially for you. But I think there's something to be said for having the office and having that space, because no matter what you do with your clients, you still have that office. And if it's a rainy weather day or a snowy weather day and they're not up for walking in all 4 seasons, you still have the room to see them in. And I was thinking about this in terms of, like, helping people in a broader sense that were listening to this podcast. And if you can't tell, I'm having a hard time. I always have a hard time with niches. If you had to pinpoint, Melissa, where have you gone wrong in your businesses through the years, I would tell you 100%. I want to help all the people. And when you help all the people, you help none of the people. In me sharing this is still holding true, and I'm trying to overcome this in 2026. I'm trying to niche down. I'm trying to be more specific. This episode is helping potential therapists. But would I ever see a fucking therapist that wouldn't take me on a walk session? Absolutely the fuck not. I would not. I would have a hard time seeing any therapist who didn't advocate for movement or walking or mobility, unless there was obviously, some issue preventing them from doing so. So if you are someone that's listening to this episode and you're like, I want a run walk therapist, I would just ask your therapist. Ask your therapist and say, hey, listen, when it's nice outside, would you be opposed to going for a walk? They may be a little bit off taken or put off by your question, only because they may not know how to do it. They may not know how to bill for it. They may not know if they're allowed to. And that's one of the things that I always tell therapists when they ask me, because this one that I talked to today, she's like, so how did you bill? What did you bill for? What did you do? And I'm like, I am a rule breaker through and through, so I just bill like I normally do. I just bill for a therapy session. And if someone wants to come and say, my eyes spy that was a therapy session in the wild, I would say, yeah, what are you gonna do to me? And I think sometimes I've heard a lot of therapists, and I get it, right? Like, we are held to a morals and standards and all of that, and I'm not disputing that. Like, I protect my clients' privacy to the nth degree. That is, I'm bound by HIPAA to do that. But when it comes to, like, am I going to bill for a session that wasn't technically in an office, but it was outside? Hell yes. Like, I'm servicing, my objective as a therapist is always to serve my clients. It's never to speak to a insurance company. It's never to, if somebody comes and, like, I think about all the time those, what are they called? Audits. Oh, fucking audits. Like, come at me with my paperwork. Tell me to improve my paperwork. How I will fucking fix it if I have to. But, like, my work with my clients is where I shine. My work with my clients is what I stand behind. So the nitty gritty of what other people think I'm doing, don't give two flying fucks. I sound like that guy from Age of Attraction. No, not Age of Attraction. Love is Blind. Chris from Love is Blind. He kept coming, I don't give a flying fuck. He fucking gave a flying fuck at the reunion when everyone was like, what were you doing? And you are a piece of shit. He gave a flying fuck then. He didn't say it, but I know he did. Anyways, so run walk therapy. And I mean, another thing too is, I know that when therapists are starting to go out on their own, there is a lot of fear around that. Am I going to be able to make enough money? Am I going to be able to grow my own caseload? And, I think what I determined when I went out on my own, and I'll tell a little bit about that, because it's probably been a long time since I've shared about this, if ever. But when I opened my own practice, it was because I was just fired. I was working in an outpatient office, so I moved from working for a nonprofit where you get paid like $0. I'm exaggerating, but like it's very low, and you're working, from let's say 8 to 4. I went from a nonprofit to working in this outpatient office. And in the outpatient office, I was essentially my own boss. My boss, I say that, and I really wasn't. My boss gave me referrals. My boss did the billing. My boss would, if I needed things in the office for arts and crafts or games or shit for, I don't know, stickers or whatever, anything I needed, he bought. He was my boss, and I try not to talk about him because he really was very scary, but a couple years have passed and he's left me alone, so I feel a little bit more empowered to talk shit now. But he was a fucking lunatic, and one of the things that he really reiterated to the people that he employed there was how hard everything was behind the scenes, and how he took care of the billing and he took care of all of these things. And what that ended up doing was giving us therapists a false sense of what life was like out there on the other side of it, working for ourselves. And as women, I mean, it was mostly women who he employed, I feel like he did such a disservice to us instead of empowering us. And so I always say to people when therapists talk about this, about going into business for yourselves, sure, there may be an interim of building up to clients and getting that steady and consistent caseload to keep you moving, but you will get there, and you just have to keep working at it. In terms of the behind the scenes stuff, it really can be whatever you want it to be. One thing for me is that, in my private practice, I only take state insurance because it's super easy to bill for. I won't fuck with other insurances on my own because I just don't want. I don't want to do that. I don't want to fuck with other insurances. So I just right from the get-go, I only handle Husky insurance because it's easy. And Talkspace is where I take all insurances because I don't deal with it. I don't deal with it at all. So essentially you determined, because you're the business owner, what you want to take and what you don't want to take. When I opened my run walk practice, I did take more insurances. I think I took, I don't know, Cigna. I had a couple that I took in the very beginning, because at that time I was trying to, there was a couple people that I took from my work at that clinic with that guy. And then I was trying to build my caseload. So I did take other insurances until I got to a point where I could stand on my own 2 feet and say, nope, just Husky, whatever. Now, when I worked with him and he would sort of send that message of, this is so much behind the scenes. And he sort of, because of his anxiety, he was very anxious and he was very worried about like legal things and things of that nature. And because of that, I think he sort of looked at himself. I don't want to say like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but he was like, sort of like, I'm taking this on for you. That was sort of the mentality. And in reality, like, I have insurance. I have malpractice insurance. I have insurance. I can do exactly what he did, and it's not that big of a deal. So I always like to share that with therapists. Once you go and work on your own, there's so much more freedom in that. I'll never regret my nonprofit days because honestly, they taught me so much about what I know clinically and how to help people and how to work with couples. And I took so much from that. But what I hated about that environment was like the rigidity about work hours and how long you're here. And, if it's shitting down snow outside and you have no appointments, you still have to sit there because you're supposed to be there till 3:30. I hated all of that. I am, an entrepreneur in the fact that I like to make my own schedule. I like to make my own decisions. I like to call the shots on, what I bill things as, and, how I do my notes and when I have work and, all of that kind of stuff. When I take vacations and whatever. Oh, look at that. I look like a ballerina. I just did my hair up in a bun if you're on YouTube. If you're not, you're missing out on my little bun. But, so once he fired me, once he lost his mind and fired me, I was like, all right, what am I going to do? Am I going to go work for someone else? Fuck no, I'm not. I'm going to open up this run walk practice like I always dreamed of. And this is my chance to do it. And I was scared, and it was scary. And I had 0 clients at the time. As I said, I did take some from him, and I was petrified that he was going to come and, I don't know, haunt me. He didn't. And, you know, I looked for an office. I found a super affordable option by the park. I got my running coach certification, so I felt more legit, even though, you know, did that really help me? No, but I feel like credibility wise, I really wanted to be like, this is, you know, who I am. This is what I do. I'm not just runner, Melissa. I'm an actual coach. Now, in reality, a lot of people didn't take advantage of either the run walk sessions, or I don't think I ever did a running session. It was always walk. But where my office was, it was freaking perfect. It was perfect because the people who were attracted to the run walk piece took advantage of that, and we utilized the park. We walked. Where my office was, it was like a perfect, you know, out and back for 45 minutes. Elizabeth Park, if you're familiar, is beautiful. So, and you know me, I like to be active in all seasons. Not everybody likes that. So a lot of times, if it was, as I said, if it was raining or snowing, people would opt to sit in the office. And I loved it until obviously COVID came and my practice went virtual, and the rest is history. So now I have my own practice, as I said, that I take Husky insurance for. I also do my work on Talkspace, which they, you know, give me referrals. They do all my billing. I find it to be, I really like being on Talkspace. I just don't love how the compensation has been the last couple months. So I am, I'm doing my shit to make more money on the outside. And I have joined also Headway with not Talkspace. It's another virtual platform. I don't love it as much as Talkspace, but we'll see. They do pay out higher, so who knows? Maybe I'll move all my people to Talkspace. I don't know. They don't give as many referrals, but this is an episode that hopefully is helpful to other therapists, and to the rest of you, again, I'm sorry to do one that you may not benefit from as much. But if you are, you know, thinking about making a plan to change a career, maybe go out on your own. If you are thinking about how cool it would be to have a therapist who would do run walk sessions with you, especially walk. You may not want to go to like any therapist about a run session. They might be upset about that. But if you said, hey, can we take a walk? I would bet you most would do it. And if not, send them to me and I'll tell them that it's okay and they can bill however they want. Whether they listen to me, I don't know. But having that practice for me was, you know, I'm so grateful for that experience of being fired and feeling like, what the fuck am I going to do now? Because that led me to opening my practice. And honestly, if I had never done Beachbody, I don't think I ever would have thought that I could have my own practice, because I just didn't know that I could do that and I could be the boss. And I remember, like, you know, I always talk about like finding or going to advice for people who have done what you want to do. And I remember right from the get-go, my dad, I love him dearly. And, you know, he only means well, but he always looks for what could go wrong. And I remember when I was opening my business, and he's always been sort of like my go-to for financial help and tax help and, you know, how the fuck am I going to do this and whatever. And he was so worried. And he was like, I don't know that you're going to be successful. And I was like, I know I will. I know I will. Everyone needs therapy. I've always believed that. And, you know, sure, I tease when the weather is nice, you know, I get a lot more cancellations. But I want people to feel good. And I know that even if 10 feel good now, there's probably 20 that don't feel good. And, you know, I think if you're ever trying to do so, and my dad's never he's never done a business. He's never been an entrepreneur. He's always been paid by somebody else. So anything that is a risk is scary to him. And he was really scared about this risk that I was taking. And I have proven to him every single year when I have met and exceeded and grown my businesses. He's shocked by how much money that I make from owning my own practice. And I know I do some work for Talkspace. I've done some work for Cornerstone when I went into the schools last year. But ultimately, I do call the shots, right? Like, I know that even if Talkspace, if they paid me $1 per session tomorrow, I'd be like, fuck you, Talkspace. I'm taking my people, and maybe I'll bill again. Maybe I'll bill insurance companies again. Don't ever feel like there's no way out. And, maybe I'll turn this even into like when you get laid off. Sometimes those things that are really scary and throw a wrench in your plans, like a layoff or being fired. Sometimes the most beautiful things can happen from those terrible things, because you're stuck in a corner and you wouldn't have done the thing because you were too comfortable otherwise. So, I regard that time of being fired and feeling totally helpless and scared and pissed. And that was the birth of my beautiful business that I'm now fucking sharing about on a podcast. Like, what is life? So just take the fucking next step. Go for it. Go for it. Whatever is on your heart, and make it and be okay enough to let go, to let the magic happen. You're gonna fuck it up. Maybe you start off billing for 5 insurances and you're like, I hate this billing shit. And you cut down the insurances, but go out there and try and see what works, see what sticks, see what feels good, and be okay with adapting and adjusting. I do that every day. Literally I wouldn't say every day, but my business is taking very strange turns in 2026, and I'm here for it. It's things that I never would have thought or didn't even think that I wanted, and here I am in real time trying them out. So be okay with that at any point in your life. I had this conversation with my 17-year-old son the other day. He's almost 17. He is 16 going on 17. He turned 17 on Thursday, and he doesn't have his permit yet. I don't do things the way other parents do. Just because you're 16 doesn't mean you automatically get a license. That comes with maturity, that comes with a desire, that comes with taking some action towards working towards that step. And if you're not there yet, you're not there yet. I don't attach anything to an age, right? And we were having a talk about it the other day, and I was like, Declan, everybody does things at different stages. The earlier that you can adapt to that mentality, the better, because it's not just going to be your license. It's going to be, all right, you graduated high school. Now where are you going to college? Where are you going to college? Now you're going to have a career. When are you going to make a wife? When are you going to have a baby? When are you going to buy a house? When are you going to get a dog with 4 legs? When are you going to, and it's just this rigmarole of life. And I just want my kids to be able to question themselves and say, this is something I really want. And of course, I hope he gets a license, but does he have to get it at 17 or 16? Absolutely not. He can get it whenever the fuck he wants it. Whenever the fuck I feel like he's mature enough to get it, and when I felt like he's taken steps to working towards that goal. And I want my kids to challenge those things. And I've said this on the podcast before, I wish someone told me, you don't have to own a home, Melissa. But I just thought that's what fucking people do. And maybe I'll grow into the person who likes owning a home. Well, guess what? I'm 45. I can't fucking wait to not own a home. It's not for me. It never was. But I didn't question it enough because I didn't know any better. Now I know better. So now I'm going to do better. And I'm going to teach my kids to do better too. And now I got to go back to therapy sessions. So I love you. Mwah. I hope this spoke to you, someone out there, the one person that it's probably the niche for, but this is me making moves. I love you no matter what. I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate you. If this did speak to you, take a screenshot, share it in your stories, send it to a friend, send it to a therapist friend, send it to your therapist. No, I'm just kidding. I love you guys. We'll see you soon. See you next week.